Hi guys, it's Mrs. South here again for week 3. I hope everybody is having a great time working through some art activities. None of my art activities are activities that are meant to be something that takes you a long time. They are meant for something fun, something that will give you a chance to practice making some art, but also get a little bit of rest from some of the other work that you're doing and just enjoy creating because you know what? When we are sad or when we're happy or when we are frustrated or we are excited, all of those things can be expressed with art. And I just think right now, especially when we're kind of feeling a lot of different emotions because we're not in school and we're not able to share as many things with our teachers or with our friends. Sometimes it's just good to be able to draw our feelings. And so today we're going to be working with some animal art. That is our launching point for our art. Now, this lesson is very open-ended. That means you're going to have the opportunity to make art about animals, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You could make a drawing. You could make a Play-Doh sculpture. You could make an animal out of cardboard. There's no limit to what you could do with whatever materials you happen to have on hand. You might not have as many materials as somebody else. Somebody else might have markers. You might have crayons. That's okay. Use the materials you have and make some kind of animal art. You are not supposed to spend any more than 30 minutes on this unless you really want to. If you want to spend more than 30 minutes, you go for it. But other than that, this should take you 30 minutes and it should be a fun and relaxing type of activity. Don't stress. So today we're going to take a look at this animal art, and I'm going to show you a lot of different animal art that different artists have made just to inspire you and give you some ideas. So let's go through and just take a look at some animal art by different artists. Look at this awesome, this is one of my favorite pieces of animal art. And the reason it's one of my favorites is because I can just imagine touching this rabbit. I think that this artist who created this art in 1502, a long time ago, he painted this rabbit. And look at the texture. Look at the fur on this rabbit's back and his ears. I can imagine just reaching out and touching the soft rabbit, touching the rabbit's whiskers. And I just love looking at all of those textures on the rabbit. So this was created with paint. And this artist is really good at creating a lot of different textures and details. He's one of my favorites. Even though he created art for such a long time ago, I really, really love the type of art that he created. And this was over 500 years ago. And look how amazing this rabbit looks. I could picture an artist today making a painting about a rabbit that looks very similar. So this down here is his signature. His name was Albrecht Dürer, and he created the A and then he put the D inside. So that's his artist signature. Isn't that cool? So you see that on a lot of his work. So this rabbit, I think, is probably one of my favorite pieces of animal art ever in the world. But there's a lot of other good ones too. For example, these are two pieces of artwork about horses. And this artist's name is Franz Marc. And Franz Marc created this artwork in the early 1900s, and he's really well known for his horses. He uses lots of bright colors and lots of curving lines when he makes his artwork about horses. And I know a lot of people really love horses. So this is a good example of another way that you can make your art that isn't necessarily realistic. It's okay to use colors that horses wouldn't really be in real life. That's okay to make your art using alternative colors. This is a piece of artwork by an artist named Paul Klee, and this is a cat, and this is a painting called Cat with Bird, and you can see that this cat has a bird sitting right here between his eyes. Look at all of these beautiful colors, and look at all of these different types of lines that we see. We see lots of lines that curve. We see lots of diagonal lines, and we see lots of kind of like smudgy color here and there. Kind of reminds me of what it looks like when we use a crayon, even though this was made with paint. What would you name this cat? This artist's name is Romero Brito, and he's from Brazil, and he's really well known for his really bright and colorful art. And he's made lots of art about animals, other things too. But I love the way he takes an animal and he makes it colorful and fills it with patterns and colors. And his work is just super colorful and super bright. This beautiful painting of a bird is an example of an Audubon bird, which is a group of bird paintings and drawings that were collected over time by the Audubon Society. And these are sort of like scientific illustrations. The bird artists would really study the anatomy of the birds, and when they would illustrate those birds, they would try and illustrate those birds as accurately as possible. This is Blue Dog, and this is by an artist who loves making paintings about his dog. His name's George Rodriguez, and George Rodriguez has made many paintings of his dog, and not all of the time is his dog blue. These are two drawings by an artist named Rembrandt van Rijn, and Rembrandt was an artist who created lots of different art. Rembrandt's art is very old, and he created lots of paintings, but also drawings as well. And these are really great examples of drawings that he created. And you can see all of his little pencil marks and lines. And in some cases, it looks like the animal's kind of like moving around because of how quickly he would put his lines down on his drawing. So I really think his artwork is really interesting and really just depicts those animals so well. These are some more of his works. That frog. You see how those contour lines help make that frog look like he's really round. That's what those are called, is contour lines. And this is one more of his works. This is a lioness. You can even see how he used lines to show her ribs. She looks like she's eating something. I wonder what she's eating. This is probably the oldest animal art that ever existed. This animal art came from a cave, and it was believed to have been created thousands of years ago. And some of the first art that we have evidence that was created. And you can see that this is a bull. But in this cave that is existing in France and still is there, this work is still on the wall. And you see not just a bull, but there's also other art all over the walls of the cave. And there are horses and deer and all kinds of different creatures. So this piece of artwork is the oldest that we can look at today. Look at that bull. This is a painting by an artist who never, ever, ever saw an animal like this in real life. He'd never even been to a jungle. His name was Henri Rousseau, and Henri Rousseau had to use his imagination as well as paragraphs from books to imagine what a jungle might really be like. And then from those words, he created a picture in his mind and then painted that picture. So these are all examples of artworks about animals. So your job this week is to simply make a piece of artwork about an animal. Could be your pet, could be your favorite animal that ever existed. It's completely up to you. Take a picture and upload it to Google Classroom. That's it. I hope you have a great day. Can't wait to see what you make. Bye-bye.